Internet, what is really, really, really good? You know who it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And I'd like to welcome you to this special grab bag edition, or that I could have made a Triple the Guy Speaks on each and every subject. And one of these subjects we're going to talk about today is something I'm going to double back to again in a week's time. So be waiting for that. But yo, it has been an interesting week for you, boy. It has. You know what I'm saying? It's like lots of interesting things happen, and we're going to go through my week, and we're going to talk about these interesting things at some length. You know, just to get my thoughts on it. And if you want to see these thoughts in a more text-based format, I got something for you. TripleTheGuy.blogspot.com. That over there is my blog, existence according to Triple the G.O.D., where I write the cool every week, where, you know, it's like this video, except in text form. And, you know, and there are some bonuses for people who tune in every week as we broadcast live from GRF Stadium. It's like, it's been this long little canonical thing. You'd have to read it from the beginning. We didn't came up major. However, enough of the self-promotion for now, because we need to go back to Monday night. We need to go back to Monday night, so I just need y'all to fuck with your boy for a minute. Come back. Let's start with this. You couldn't have told me that that was going to be the finish of that wrestling match that I watched, and I would have believed you. Couldn't have told me at all. You couldn't have told me that that would have been the finish already, because, again, it is a believable finish to a wrestling match in the year 2016. I just wouldn't have believed that that was going to be the finish. But regardless of the finish, Kevin Owens is your Universal Champion. Regardless of all of that. It's like, you know, you can do the clap, clap, you deserve it, because he does. Because Kevin Owens has been kicking ass forever. You know, because the thing is that, in my personal view, is that when I think about it in hindsight, is that KO probably needed the strap before then, but they had their heart on for Roman. But before that, is that I thought that maybe he should have won the belt off John Cena when he had made that challenge when he was still NXT champion. I think he should have won the belt off Cena then, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But the thing is, KO is a champion. It's like the thing that is like still racking my brain is the finish to the match, because you couldn't have told me Triple H was gonna come the fuck out. He was gonna pedigree Roman Reigns. You couldn't have told me he would have turned around and you think he would have pedigree KO, but no, he pedigree Seth Rollins, and hopefully tonight on Raw we get some answers, because I would love some. I would love some, because I believe enough in this soap opera that I watch every week that I'm kind of wondering, like, what the hell is going on in the soap opera that I watch. And again, this is not because KO is the champion, because you deserve it, such and such, but more along the fact is that I want to hear what Triple H has to say, because depending on how this is written and how it could possibly be booked, this could get really, really, really interesting. And every time I think that a storyline on my wrestling show is going to get interesting when it comes to WWE, it never does. We could go along the lines about every time you thought something hot was going to happen, and then, you know, whoopsie daisy, ball's been dropped. So, the less we talk about that, the better. So again, congrats to my boy KO. You know what I'm saying? They put the strap on him. How long he gonna have a strap before they put it on somebody else is nothing. But the bottom line is this. I appreciate that they had two opportunities to put the belt on Seth's ass and they didn't do it. They had two opportunities to be, we can go do the SOS, that same old shit, and put the belt on Seth, and they didn't do it twice. Because let's think about it. I talked about this in my SummerSlam review, is that they could have put the belt on Finn, but Seth fucked them up. So then it led to that 4-way. Because here's the thing. Ain't no way at this moment in the game, regardless of how people in the back might feel about him, I don't think they finna put a belt on Big Cassidy soon. You know what I'm saying? Him and Enzo, they imagine they get the crowd hype, but I don't even know if they ready to carry the tag titles yet. I still think that's a job for Gallows and Anderson. And I hope Dana Owens stick around with them. You know what I'm saying? She needs to hell away from Charlotte, but that's another conversation. The New Day, da-da-da-da. There's that. Roman's still in the doghouse. Roman in the doghouse so bad, like I said, is you pissed in the cup. They won't even put the U.S. title on your ass. You just 30K clean finishes so people can think that you're doing something for all your fans, but you ain't doing nothing. My boy Seth, you know, I love him. Look, that's my boy. I love to watch him wrestle. I have been enjoying watching Seth Rollins in his various incarnations wrestle for years. It's been amazing. It should be interesting to see what Seth does because I don't know if he's going to be using the pedigree for a finisher. He probably, well, in the case of where he was with his character, that was perfect. But now that this has happened, hopefully start using God Lad Gift again because that's that's a package driver? That seems perfect for his character. I'm like, shit. I'm like, I understand the reason they took away the curb stomp, but we discussed this before. But the curb stomp was an amazing move. It set up it was like the spot for it, you know what I'm saying, giving matches, but but again, it's like Seth bring out the goods when it's time. So, you know, you don't want to see him move too much, so hopefully they give him a new finisher that makes sense. So there's that. KO? Yo, I want to see what KO can do with this. This is compelling television for me to watch because I want to know where WWE is going to let KO go with this right here and how long they going to let him go with it. Because again, like I say, I appreciate, applaud, and respect that they had the opportunity to do the safe thing 2 times in a row and they didn't. Thank you, WWE. I appreciate that. I just wanted to say thank you. So, tonight on Raw should be very interesting to watch because that opening segment with KO and possibly Jericho because, you know, if they still going to be kicking it should be interesting to see the dynamic with KO as the champion and how long that's going to break before Jericho hits him with a cold breaker and tries to take the title from his ass. Should be interesting. So that's wrestling for now in this conversation. Let's see. Where are we in my week here? We're at Thursday now. Thursday night, Triple the God time. About 9, 10 o'clock when that trailer came out? Something magical happened. Bandai Namco came to me and was like, yo, Trip, we have good news for you. You know that sequel to Rider Generation 2 you wanted? We're giving you one. And I'm like, yeah, we get one. Because, see, here's the thing. Unfortunately for me, I do not have a Japanese 3DS of any kind. I've been working on that for a while now. I've been working on it, especially with all the homebrew and stuff, trying to find a Japanese 3DS that's hooked up enough for homebrew so I can get everything taken care of or whatever. Because, again, when it comes to what happened after Rider Generation 2 is that, let's see, because Rider Generation 2 was, Rider Generation 2 was Forza's. You know, and Wizard was in that. Wizard didn't get a game. But because his game was Bat Ride War. That was his game. He got Bat Ride War. And then Wizard, because I'm trying to think of my Heisei Riders. Then it would be Gaim after that, right? Yeah, it would be Gaim after that. Gaim got Traveler's Record, which gathered all that stuff together and separated all that Heisei stuff because he was Heisei Rider 15 was they gathered all the Neo Heisei Riders in Traveler's Record, and that was a good version of the Rider Generation 2 games and stuff like that. Drive didn't get a game because they were banking heavy on Summon Ride. And honestly, and I'm going to say this live, I still think about randomly get on eBay and get on like Yahoo Auctions and like look at Summon Ride stuff and think that I want to buy that. And I have myriads of opportunities to fall down every Toy to Life hole that exists, and I still haven't. And I don't really think that because it's one thing about how like Disney Infinity and Amiibos are and Lego Dimensions and shit like that, and even Skylanders, because Skylanders is the king of that shit still, I guess. But Summon Ride took that shit to a whole new level. If you go and look to see how it is, like because even though Summon Ride didn't last that long, is there are a lot of things that if you want a complete set of everything, Summon Ride is that you really need to literally either A, need to be living in Japan, or B, you need to go on Yahoo Auctions and know what the fuck you looking for, because there were all types of things that were part of Happy Meals and part of gacha machines and shit, and it's insane. And I don't think that I want any part of that. But I want to play the game to see how it is, because I saw Summon Ride and was like, I'm going to skip this because I don't want nothing to do with that. Because again, it seemed like an interesting take on Rider, and it was like that Kamen Rider. If you can do Toys to Life with anything that you would think that a franchise like Kamen Rider or even Super Sentai, if they tried it with that, would work, and it bombed. So it's like I looked at that even after the fact when it bombed, it was like, and even now, because for real, when the information for Rider Revolution came out, when the trailer did, is that I actually went on eBay and went and looked at stuff for Summer Rider, not to sit up here and looked at this stuff, and then I went to go to a wiki to see to compare and contrast what it was I was looking at on eBay, and doing mathematics, and then realizing that you needed this Happy Meal and you needed this, and I'm just like, nope. I see why I skipped this shit. No. I'm like, they already get me every time a Bat Ride War game to buy a Japanese CD I never listened to. They get me every time because I gotta have that exclusive this, gotta have that exclusive that. So I need to buy these CDs of music with Kamen Rider girls on it, and it's like, yo, Go Get 'Em was a good song, and so was Break the Shell for the record, but I'm not gonna listen to this shit more than once. Well, actually, you know what? When Break the Shell came out, before the CD came out, is that you was able to find some hookups on some MP3s or whatever, or like low quality, and I was like beating it like one day when I was going to go pick up my check. But again, is that I'm not going to be listening to that too hard. So like I said, Rod already got his hooks into me. I buy that game every year, and then I buy a CD so I can get an exclusive figure because, Bandai Namco's full of shit, and it's just compounded with Toei trying to make money, and it's just weird. So, yeah. The point that I'm trying to get to is, all history aside, is I have been waiting for years for a real game. And speaking of, on that same point, I did forget something. Ghost had Game Day Kagan, and that was like a mini version of that. And just like the one thing that Game Day Kagan did was it added like vehicle segments. So that should be interesting to see if that gets into Rider Revolution. That should be really interesting. So I'm going to be watching Rider Revolution really closely because I'm like, I pulled up my blog because I needed to make sure I had the information, because I'm like, every rider from Rider Generation 2 is in Rider Revolution, plus Delta from 5, Nadeshiko from Forza, Beast from Wizard, you got Gaim, Baron and Ryugen from Gaim, Drive, Market Chaser from Drive, Ghost Inspector from Ghost, you got Amazon Alpha and Omega from Amazon, and you got X8 and Brave. So that's one hell of a roster, and it's like we don't even know the complete roster. Is that the thing is that Necron from Ghost is a given. Even though how Snipe is going to play into the early parts of X8, he should be in the game too. There are other question marks about possibly Amazon Sigma. You got Gam and Laser from X8. There are plenty of things they can do because, again, when we had Rider Generation 2 came out on the tail end of Forza, like right when Wizard dropped, and Wizard was a secret character, and all he had was, what form was that? All he had was slang style in that game. So, it should be interesting to see like how they really get into adapting styles and doing all that, because I don't know what they're gonna do with Ghost. Ghost got 15 different forms and then all this, and Tocom boots and all this whole stuff. infinity and all this stuff. That's going to be something interesting. But yo, I enjoyed the hell out of Rider Generation 2. I enjoyed the hell out of that game. I did. And it's like, if only my PSP that I was doing my capture on stopped working, because you need a certain firmware in order to, actually get good recording out of a PSP using Remote Joy Lite, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm working on getting another PSP for that, because I really want to play more of Neo Geo Heroes Ultimate Shooting for the internet. So I want to do that. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what Rider Revolution does, and to see like all the riders that are going to be in it, because this is the 45th anniversary of Rider, and it's going to be an interesting thing to like play this anniversary game, because Forza was an anniversary. Yeah, Climax Heroes Forza was an anniversary game. That was the year that we got Showa versus Heisei and Tag Battle. So, I have no idea what this is going to be for the next Bat Ride War game, if there is going to be one. I'm like, this seemed like the perfect time to go back to Climax Heroes. I really think that with XA, that because of XA's premise, this is the time to, really delve into, because one of XA's premises, you don't know, is retro games. So, it's retro games and doctors. So, you can really put the two and two together on your own with that. I am excited for Rider Revolution. And not even as a fan of Kamen Rider, but as a fan of good beat-em-up games. And we don't get a lot of that. It's that everything that Tataki do with Senran Kagura and all of his offshoots are wonderful things. You got Dragon's Crown, but we ain't gonna see another Dragon Crown soon. So the only for real beat 'em ups that we get for real that come out constantly on consoles is that there's always gonna be a Senran Kagura, and it's always gonna have a way to grow and be better than what it is. So you should play Senran Kagura, titties or not, and you should play Dragon's Crown on something, because Dragon Crown is, in my view, probably the best beat 'em up in years. And it's what it does is that, just to say 2 seconds about Dragon Crown is that it follows a wonderful game in both of the Dungeon and Dragon games. And if you're going to get that on PS3, you should go buy the Japanese version for reasons we won't talk about here, but it's better than the American version that came out over here. Well, actually, you know what? I can take 2 seconds, because I got 2 seconds all day. I got number time. The American version that was made by Iron Galaxy is different from the Japanese version that actually had people who worked on the original game do some touch-up and some special extra shit for the Japanese version when it came out. So if you go and experience it, get the Japanese version. It is the definitive version, and I think it's in English too. I think, because it's been forever since I played the Japanese version, but I think you can play that game in English. I don't even think you need to buy an Asian version of the game. I think that game is fully in English with all of the extra stuff in it. So you should play the Japanese version of the Chronicles of Mr. R. You should do that. All in all, Rider Revolution is going to be interesting when it comes out on December 1st. I will be keeping up very close with this game until it comes out. I'm like, the second I find out what pre-order bonuses are going to be, and there are going to be some, is that I will pick my place to pre-order my game, and then I'm going to enjoy it and have fun. And I really wish I had a 3DS capture card, because man, I still want to do them Suyu combos. I still want to do that. Alright, so that's Thursday. Really quickly, Saturday. I'm actually in the middle of a marathon of Geki Ranger, because it is part of my summer ritual every year, because I'm watching Sentai backwards. Don't ask how that happened, but you're going to get the answer to how that happened in a couple of segments from now. But for years now, every year, I dropped it last year because I was supposed to watch Geki Ranger last year. Didn't do it, but I'm doing it now. I'm like, Geki Ranger is an amazing show. It is. It is an amazing Sentai, because all I heard back in the day was good things about Geki Ranger, and I see why it is good. And when I get through all the episodes and the movies and stuff, we'll have a Triple Guy Speaks on all about Geki Ranger and trying my best to not make comparisons to that in Jungle Fury because that's just doing the medium disservice. So there's that. So I'll let y'all know what's good with that. But I just want to let the streets know, yo, I'm watching Geki right there. So, it's a good show. You should watch it. And speaking of good shows, is that I'm going to say this while I have the audience to say this before we get to our next subject. I remember how when I got ready to watch Go Onja, like, how shitted on, how people didn't like it, because people shitted on it. Like, people in my circle were like, Go Onja wasn't good, and I went into it not having any expectations that came out of it, and they're like, yo, that was my shit. G3 Princess all day, yo. I love Go Onja. I'm thinking about, like, a rewatch it sometime next year or something when, probably next summer, you know what I'm saying, like, get in an early marathon or something, but I just wanted to say Go Onja is a pretty good show, and I want to watch it again. I really enjoyed it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like in the things that I've said about how they took whatever Go Onja was and made RPM the godlike show that it was as an adaptation. Yo, I can do nothing but applaud that. We're going to be doing a little more applauding and a little more shitting on things in a minute. So that was Saturday, right? Sunday afternoon, the PAX Rumble. Yeah, because, I watched that. I'm like, people's work who I enjoy in the video game medium sit down and play WrestleMania 2000. I'm like, I love, like, how much simply sitting down and playing WrestleMania 2000 at the first PAX Rumble turned into this nonsensical shit show that is amazing to watch and unfold. I'm like, it's good to see people's work you enjoy sit up in the streets and just have fun. I'm like, that is the only reason that I watch. I'm like, I don't watch it because some people are playing WrestleMania 2000. Because if I want to play WrestleMania 2000, I have WrestleMania 2000 and I have an N64 like an arm's length of me. If I want to play that shit, not why I watch. I'm like, I watch that on purpose. I take it seriously like I take wrestling seriously as the soap opera. And it's like, it's fun to like see them cut promos and talk shit to each other. It is hilarious. And if you have never watched anything past wrestling or League of Hills since its name changed, go back to the beginning. All that stuff is on the internet and you should watch it. That shit is amazing. It is amazing to watch. I'm not even going to spoil anything. Because if I tell you what happened, I can sit up here and take 30 minutes and explain the context to you, but there is something about watching each and every PAX Wrestling / League of Hills event that one tops the other, and you need the story for it all to make sense. And you'll thank me later because you will sit up here and your gut gonna be busted open and how much you're gonna be laughing at this old ignorant shit that people do, and it's this. So thank you, gaming people who entertain me on a Sunday every time there's PAX while you're playing WrestleMania 2000. Thank you very much. The reason why we're here is because I was inspired to do this because I just finished watching part 1 of the G.O.D crossover, and the God, marvelous. He's still a god. Still the god. I haven't seen Luca yet, but yo, I marked out that whole episode. I'm like, excusing Deca Ranger. Gokaja is my favorite Sentai. Gokaja was the Sentai that started me on my quest to watch Sentai backwards. Because the first Sentai because I used to have a ritual every year when you could do this, was that I would watch the first episode of a Sentai on YouTube. And I did that. I was doing that ever since Go Onja, actually. Like, I would get on the internet and I watched the first episode of Go Onja. I watched the first episode of Shikenja. I watched the first episode of... What comes after Shikenja? I know this. I know this information. I do. And I'm stalling now. What is that Sentai? Let me see. Okay. That was the Angels. The Angel people. Oh man, I don't believe this. I don't believe that live. I am sitting up here having a brain for not knowing what comes after she killed her, because that's the first season of Megaforce. So I am going to go to the internet because no, I don't want that. Go Sage it. Thank you. It took me like a minute and a half to come with that. Go Sage it. I'm like, I guess that's how forgettable that show is. Because I remember Ghost Sager being good, because I'm going to be for real. Ghost Sager was the season that I sat up and watched with my little man. Like, we sat up and like watched like all of Ghost Sager. And also at that same time I was marathoning My Little Pony, but that's another conversation. But you would think I would remember that Ghost Sager, because I said, because me and my little man, like when he didn't understand what the hell going on around him, we used to hold him when you just sit up and just watch Ghost Sager all day. And I would just marathoning through that. So yeah. Go Kai, this is my shit. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we could get into what I feel about the Sentai going forward. Go Busters is better than anybody gets it credit for. Koryuja's that fucking Krizak. Tokuja. They should have, you know, went hot into their premise a little more. Ninja, yo, that shit was hot. You know what I'm saying? Ninja was hot, and Zuoja kicking ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I really didn't think the whole Minecraft cube premise thing. It's like, I thought it was gonna work, and it has, because it's like the show has gone past its premise. It's like it was a premise of this is what it is, but now it's something else. So that's that. But seeing the homeboy Marvelous again though, because dude is godlike. I don't even need to say it. You know what I'm saying? What you want me to say? Marvelous still got, like, he still got it. Marvelous still got, like, what do you want? I don't have anything else left to say to you, because there is nothing left to say. Marvelous is godlike. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Luca's sexy self. It's like, I'm like, I'm hype as fuck. That's it. That's it. And, oh yeah, one more thing. Kasumi Gang, you know what I'm saying? You know what's up? Ninja Gang. I just need to say that information, because that just popped in my head. So, I don't know. But it was an interesting first episode. I don't know how this gets in with Bonglay, because I guess this is how they gonna get rid of the character, because he ain't doing nothing. It's just that you got Genesis in the cut just sitting there just watching this dude just do stuff, and it's just like blood game on pause right now. So it's kind of like, well, okay, I guess, and you know, I don't know. But I guess this gonna be the end of Bonglay. So it's like, it was a good way to have somebody to have like an intermission boss, I guess. But they doing a whole bunch of stuff at the same time, and I don't really want to talk about that, because we're going to come together next week and we're going to talk about the crossover as a whole and a whole separate episode Triple the Guy Speaks on. But I like what I see. Marvel is still the God. That's all the hell I'm asking for here, so good on you. Good on you, Sentai, for making, you know, Marvelous the God still be Marvelous the God. What the hell's Basco? You know what I'm saying? Hey, what you want from me? But I think that's it. I think that's everything. Let's see. We talked about KO. We talked about Rider Revolution. We talked about the PAX Rumble a little bit. And we talked about a crossover that I'm going to talk about again. Was there anything else? Was there anything else? Nope. That's it. That is it. That is all. Thank you for kicking with me for half an hour. I didn't think it was going to take this long. But usually I say these things don't take long, and then I take half an hour, because I have a lot to say. I have a lot of knowledge to expense. I don't know. Oh boy, I wish I was playing KOF 14, but I'm poor, don't have a PS4, so there's that, and you know, yeah. Oh man. At least I'm not speaking. And look, I'm not speaking on this sports subject, so there's no dog barking outside all night that I have to go, shut the door on. But yo, that's it. That's all for real. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. I'm gonna turn this into a video. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this into a video. I'm going to enjoy my Labor Day, and I'm probably going to sit down and play something that won't be things like Super Metroid, which I needed to finish for 2 fucking years now, and all that other stuff that I know I need to play, but just don't because I just don't feel like rolling over in the bed and getting up. But it's Monday, you know what I'm saying? We got the whole week ahead of us, and we'll be back to this next week when the second part, when episode 2000 of Centaurs, and we'll talk about Marvelous Still the God, and we'll talk about Marvelous the God. We'll talk about that. So don't worry about it. So with that being said, you know it is the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D, and I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the God Speaks On. And with that, I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.